Hey guys, it's Giano Curry again with another week of the photo assignment. This week's assignment was called Two Photos, One Concept. And the goal was to have you focus on creating a dialogue between two images and also the consistency when building a specific collection. Now, if you're shooting one particular theme, it's always important to capture different angles and to use the same story and maybe show it in different ways, different angles, different styles. It's always important to document and to build your collections. It's really important. When it comes to my work, I do at minimum, I need 3 images to kind of to build a house to hold that collection and kind of show consistency in your work as well too. So that was the goal for this particular episode. And without further ado, I also want to introduce a good friend of mine and a fellow photographer, Sarita. So Sarita, tell the people who you are.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on here, by the way, Giano. And my name is Sarita. I'm currently in Berlin. I'm traveling Europe or I'm stuck in Berlin until I can continue traveling Europe. And I like to shoot architecture. I like to shoot self-portraits as well. And I'm really excited about this assignment because it's about putting two photos together, which I love doing.
That's also what you kind of do, right?
Yeah. I love putting like different photos together and seeing how they work together to make it kind of like one concept. So I'm really excited that, you invited me for this.
Of course.
And I'm also the creator of Talk the Shot, which is like a podcast on Instagram where I interview photographers and occasionally models about a shot that they took or a shot that was taken of them and their work. So if any of you guys are interested, July is, I'm sorry, I think June is booked. July is completely open. So if anyone's interested, they can DM me and be my next guest on Talk the Shot.
Awesome, Sarita. Thank you so much. And for all photographers out there, and beyond even photography models, content creators, creatives in general, definitely check it out. You get insights on other photographers and their stories and how they started. If you're really looking to start or kind of to expand your photography, definitely check out Talk the Shot. And if you have a story to tell, follow Sarita's advice. Definitely reach out to her.
Thank you.
So, without further ado, what you guys have been waiting for, we have some cool stuff, some very cool images that both tell one story. So, let's get into it. All right, guys. So, for the first image, we have a submission by Sky Cruz. And what we'll be doing, we'll be going through image 1, image 2, and then we'll put both images and see if they work well together. So for the first one, this is by Sky Cruz, and the theme is guitar shape versus form. So Sarita, take it away. What does this image tell you?
I really like this picture. I love music. I have dabbled in the guitar. I'm a terrible guitar player. I used to play drums when I was younger, and I was much better at that.
I have a good friend that plays the drums.
And I can just tell that, like, yes, Sky, I just feel like you really love this guitar, like just by the way that this picture was taken. Like you can tell that, like, the way like the light falls on it, the centerpiece of it, it's beautiful. The gold handles on the bottom. I just feel like there's a love, like whoever took this picture loves this guitar. It's they love it. And I feel that. And I love the background. that it was chosen, and I love that again, like the way the light's falling on it, and I just like how it makes me feel. It's the best way I can put it.
Yeah, it definitely feels like music in a way. It's really like the guitar is basking in all its glory. Something that really stands out to me too, even a little bit more than the guitar itself, is also the blue. It's kind of the blues, It
Yeah.
kind of feels jazzy, kind of that New Orleans feeling, laid back. But the blue definitely stands out to me. I love how well um, the sides of the guitar are highlighted, just enough with how it decreases at the bottom, and how it kind of gets thicker on the edges and the sides, especially this part and this part as well. Like you, I really like the kind of the golden knobs. It kind of definitely stand out, on their own. And let me see.
Yeah, I also like that like the neck is cut off. Like we
Yeah.
can't see the top of the guitar. Um and so I think that makes the guitar look bigger. Like I think it makes it look larger because we're not seeing the whole thing. So I really like that cut off. I really like where it was cut there. I really like this.
Yeah, because
Um
somebody else would have just maybe, put the whole guitar out there, but I think
yeah,
it's pretty bold that she cut it off right there, and it works. It works very well.
it
Um,
works very well. Yeah,
I
I
didn't
feel
realize.
like I'm looking at it like in the face, like I feel like, oh, like, guitar like straight to my face. In like such a pleasant way though, in such a nice way.
It works for
Uh
the aesthetics too. I think if the full could if she would have showed the full guitar, like, all
yeah,
the way to the top, it would have felt forced. Like, here's a guitar, just take it. And when she
right.
is, it it definitely increases the aesthetics of the bigger picture.
Yeah, I feel like it gives the way she took it. She is Sky's a girl, yes?
Yes,
I
guys,
know.
is a
Okay.
woman.
Um, the way she took it gives it personality.
Mhm.
Like it gives it a personality. Like um, like it's like if I look at it long enough, it's looking at me. That the guitar is looking at me. So it's nice, and it's nice. It's interesting. Like if it could talk, like what would it say? It makes me wonder. Um,
It
and
would
I
sing.
and I
It would sing like, the jazzy blues.
Yeah, you think so? Yeah, I might just play music, obviously. Yeah. But I just still see it as like, like the metal piece at the bottom could be like a mouth, and then like the two metal pieces at, the top are like the eye or something. I just feel like it has personality,
Yeah. You
and
know
I
what it
really like
also
that.
has? It also has like a tiger print. Is it just me, or it has a tiger
Yeah.
print, right? Or is that what?
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, it's got like stripes on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a hint,
Yeah.
just a hint, not too strong. But definitely some tiger print in there. Um, I really like the background as well too.
Me too.
On the background, I think, not a lot of people realize this, but the background, depending on the background, how light it is, how dark it is, that really increases the subject. It helps, or it doesn't help your subject, and this definitely
Right.
helps. One thing I would say, can you see my mouse?
I can see your mouse.
Yeah, so these shadows here, I would have
Yeah.
maybe taken them out in post. I wouldn't have cropped it, but if it was me, I would have maybe taken these two shadows out.
Yeah, I think the shadow on the right is a little distracting. Maybe the one on the top, not so much that you're seeing,
Yeah.
but the one on the right does. If you look at it if you look at the photo long enough, it does draw the eye.
Yeah.
My eye will like go to it. And I'm pretty sure that's not where the eye should go, or maybe where she wants the eye to go.
Yeah, because you already have the light source coming from
Right,
the area, so
right.
you know.
But the shadow on the other side is great.
Oh no. Yeah, like once obviously, there needs to be a light source. There needs to be some type of shadow. If you're shooting objects, I love shadows. It
Mm-hmm.
depends how strong of a shadow. This is more of a kind of a softer shadow. The light source was maybe, it wasn't all too close. But yeah, I totally agree. Like the left side definitely works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the left side definitely works. Yeah.
So let's go to the second one. So what do you think? So in terms of the concept, the theme was what Sky did. Her theme was she wanted to compare the shape of the guitar to the shape of form, human form. So that's where that comparison comes in.
Okay. Okay. With this picture, I really like the light falling on her cheek
Mm-hmm.
and
The
her
left side, right?
shoulder. Yeah, that light there is really nice. Um,
I think she used a filter. Like it looks like a blue-ish.
yeah, like almost greenish,
Yeah.
like a green, almost
Mm-hmm.
greenish. Yeah. Um, and I love like the leotard. I think this is a leotard actually. I used to take ballet, so
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know.
I was gonna say it's a bathing suit, but
It might be a bathing suit. It might. It might be a bathing suit. It might be a leotard. I'm not
no, but
sure.
I think you're right because the
I,
texture is
yeah, the texture's
a dance,
different.
performing arts kind of.
Yeah, you're right. Right. Yeah. So, um, I like it. I like how it like shows off her body. Shows how strong she is. Um, and I don't know. I don't know. Tell me what your thoughts are. Tell me what you think.
I get the concept. There are similarities between the blue of the guitar versus the blue of the leotard, not the bathing suit. But the things that I like about this image are, um, let me see. I like the contrast between the skin and the blue. So like the first one,
Mm-hmm.
which stood out, something that stood out to me before even the guitar was the blue color. The color
Yeah.
in that image,
Yeah.
and I feel, very strong similarities in this one as well. It's like, you know, for those of you that don't know, there's a company that's called Pantone, and they specialize in colors. And the way they present, they have a color of the year each year, and that kind of, I'm not sure how far that goes into trends and clothing trends and stuff like that, but they do every year come out with a color of that year. I'm not sure what this year is. It might be blue. Last I checked, it might be original blue. Maybe it's last year, but last I remember, the color of the year was blue. So, props to her for using that blue. But every time they present a color, they do it through an image. And I feel, these images definitely speak more in colors, and after that, you get the subject.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But again, I really like the how, especially when it comes to my photography style, I love compartmentalizing, the human form. And what the leotard does, it kind of like her chest area and her head up, almost a bust, it kind of compartmentalizes that. You see her arms, you see her legs. Something that I also like that definitely helps this image is that she put her hands behind her. If you
Yeah.
look at the form itself, it's, I definitely see the comparisons. talking about shadows, the shadow behind her really works. I don't know what she used as a background, but I just love the texture. Similar to the guitar, she probably, I'm not sure if it's a wall or if it's a black board. But the
Yeah.
background definitely helps. The great shadowing. I love the texture of the leotard. Putting her hair back, kind of making herself very minimalistic, definitely works as well too. Um, and and yeah, the only thing I would say she might have, and maybe it might be the lights that she used or the filter on the lights that she used
Yeah.
aside, but I definitely think it's a little bit oversaturated, a little bit more than the guitar. It might be the reflection of the leotard,
Mm.
but it might feel that the saturation has been, or maybe decreased the saturation actually.
I
So yeah,
do
that's what
feel I do feel like my attention does go to the leotard and
yeah.
like her body more than like her face.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I was gonna say about the arms, like when we were gonna compare the two, also like because it's um like I can see the similarities, like the guitar and then her body and then the blue.
Yeah.
Um, I think I know what you mean about the light. Yeah, there's something a little bit off about the light. I think you know more about lighting than I do.
She might
Uh,
have also maybe put the highlights, post edit probably, put the highlights way down,
yeah.
because there's very minimal whites in the image. It's like the whites have been removed.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, I see what you mean. I think she mentioned in the um hold on,
In
in
her
the
submission.
description, in the
Mhm.
description, yeah, that that like that it was like that it was difficult.
Yeah, she tried different. She like the obviously the image that she submitted of herself with the leotard. She tried to use different images and maybe objects.
Yeah.
She said that was kind of tricky.
And I like I would think so too. I mean, if I tried to do it myself, I would have a hard time doing it also.
Oh yeah, like
I think she did pick a difficult task. Like even if I decided to do something like this, I think I would have struggled with it
yeah,
too. Um, and she did a great job.
she
She
did.
still did, yeah, she still did a good job. I can see the relation between
Mhm.
the two.
So
Yeah.
something that might have worked too, and I'm a big supporter of just composition, the way you crop your images. She could have maybe cropped this image maybe a little bit different. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe
Uh-huh.
cropping it in a way where maybe her eyes wouldn't be showing. Like I get what she did with the guitar. She cut off kind of the top area.
She
She
cut
cut
off
off
the neck. Yeah, that's the
yeah.
neck of the guitar. Yeah, that's that the actual name of that is the neck. They
Hmm.
call in the music industry. And so yeah, I agree with you. Maybe especially since what's so in focus to my eye is her body and she shot the body of the guitar.
Yeah.
um I think, yeah, I think cropping, like, yeah, like just her eye or something, or like,
Yeah.
or if she had like extended her neck, I don't know, just kind of experimented with that maybe a little bit,
Where it would just focus on maybe like her neck. I really
something
like
like that.
where her
Yeah.
arms go down and then it kind of pushes out again. About concept, about and I'm gonna show both images now. Yeah. So here we have them compared.
Yeah.
So what I really like about this is that Sky took an object. No, yeah, she took an object with a specific form and she compared it to her form. And what I really appreciate about this concept is that um, the it's organic form, like our own form, and what how we have created objects, that kind of, I mean, a guitar has a pretty iconic form. I mean, this is beautiful aesthetics, and it's created by us, So I love the relationship of, taking an organic form and comparing it to a form that we have created as an organic form as well too. It's kind of us creating new forms, from
Yeah.
our own likeness.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I agree. And and looking at the two, next to each other, I think one of my first thoughts was is Sky the one in the photo? Is she the one in the picture? I guess we don't
Yes,
know. Do we
yes,
know?
it's
Okay, okay. Like I can tell that, or like at least I got the message that like that Sky loves this guitar,
mm-hmm.
but I don't feel the same love for herself.
Mm.
And that kind of like took me by surprise. Like it makes me wonder that if when Sky decided to take these pictures, I wonder if she was like, let me take a picture of something I love, and then so she thought the guitar first rather than thinking of herself first. Like I think she photographed the guitar first,
Mm.
and like I think she must have. I'm just guessing, but my impression is like, okay, like let me take a picture of something I love, and instead of your first thought being, well, I love myself, let me take photos of myself,
Mhm.
was I love my guitar, let me take photos of my guitar.
Yeah,
And so I feel like there's more love for the guitar than for the picture of herself. I'm not saying that she doesn't love herself, or but I just feel that's just a feeling that I got.
yeah.
Um,
You're saying there's a lot, like there's more appreciation for the guitar than her.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's very interesting, Sarah. I mean, took it, you took it deep, very deep. Um, but yeah, that could be the case. I would say to that, um, it's kind of hard taking a picture of yourself. It's not the easiest task.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
your defense, maybe that happened, but um, comparison, like coming back to the whites that I mentioned that are lacking on the image on the right side, I would have maybe used more white, maybe even the highlights,
Yeah,
just because of the guitar has white as well, and maybe something gold, maybe something around her waist, or but some type of gold in the image on the right side. I think those accents, maybe just the gold or maybe just something white, would have worked better for me.
I agree. I agree.
I think her hair, she has maybe some gold locks in her hair. That would have worked too. If that would have been, you know, um, just stood out a little bit more. You see her hair? It has like, what do they call it, extensions, right? Like colored extensions, right?
I don't know. I'm bad with that sort of thing.
Okay.
Don't ask me.
All right. All right.
but
So,
but but I agree with you. I would have liked to seen like even a gold medal, even a gold
gold medal
medal
would have, yeah,
around her neck would have done something else.
yeah.
But then again, maybe not. Maybe that would have taken the attention away too,
It would have had to be like a choking, like a choker medal. I don't know if they have those, but if
I don't know if
would
that
have
would have
gone
gone with a
gold,
leotard. I don't know if that would have worked with a leotard.
yeah,
But yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, I see what you mean.
something
I thought the
gold or
same thing
white
too.
or
Yeah,
both.
and I wish like the light had fallen the same way too. Which I'm sure that she was trying to do that, and I think that was kind of like the hard part. And I think I would have struggled with that too.
Yeah,
And what
because
you were saying earlier, it is hard to shoot yourself, a
yeah,
person.
and you need more space as well. I clearly see the guitar
Right.
is laying down, and obviously if if you can lay down as a subject too, but then you got to go high to shoot down. And something I've experienced, if you're shooting somebody that's laying down, um you get physics, like you get like
Right.
you get physics, so you look different if you're laying down.
Totally.
Your weight is going in, in a different direction, so that kind of changes certain things. Um but overall, I see the comparisons as just the gold and the white that is missing.
Yeah, I see the comparison too. And yeah, like I said earlier, I just feel like um I'm drawn towards the guitar more.
Yeah.
I do see how they work together, and she's beautiful. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from her. I mean, she's beautiful and she's brave to
Mhm.
photograph herself like this,
Yeah.
like kind of naked almost,
Yeah.
like almost naked. And the guitar is naked
Yeah.
or, or feels naked, almost naked
She
too.
definitely got the form right,
Yeah,
her hands behind her, like looking straight at the camera, her hair put straight
right.
back. She definitely hit those elements. But I agree.
Yeah.
So let's go to the next one. So the next one is by Mario.
Yeah.
Mario Jelic. Jelikic. And I might be pronouncing it wrong. So I won't even go there. But Mario has submitted in the past. So yeah, what do you think, Sarah?
Um, this, I mean, this really invokes feeling for me.
Mhm.
I have a like, I have a thing for hands. That's kind of a secret
Okay.
of mine.
Don't be scared
Yeah,
to say it.
I have just a little bit of just a tiny bit of a hand fetish.
Okay. Yeah.
Just a little bit, just a little bit.
Me
Like
too. Me too.
whenever I love I love hands. Like I love people's hands. Hands always tell a story.
Mhm.
Hands, anything, like, you can look at someone's hands and know what they do for a living,
Yeah.
almost, like the hands um are so different on everybody. And I just and they do so much. They
And
fight,
it's
they
really hard to
love.
shoot them in hands in the right way too. It
Yeah, to
takes
shoot
a
hands.
lot of
and
expression.
and to drawing,
Especially with
illustrators
artists.
have, yeah, illustrators have told me that hands are one of the hardest things to draw.
Yeah.
So and to shoot, yeah, I'm sure. And this image, it kind of freaks me out. Because it's like, oh my god, someone's gonna grab me.
Yeah.
That's the feeling that I get, like, what, someone's gonna grab me. And it's ominous, and because it's black and white. And I guess I think it was taken in a home, because I see, like, in the background, it's
Yeah, you see the frame on
like,
the
see the
right
frames on the
side.
wall. Yeah. So I'm like, oh my god, someone's gonna take me in my own home, or someone's gonna, like, grab me in the comfort of my home, of a home.
Yeah.
But it's I think that's really cool. And I just love that we don't see a face. We don't even get to see the form of a face.
Yeah.
It's just a hand that's coming to grab me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, likewise, it's it's kind of a disturbing image, and disturbing in a good way. Disturbing meaning, the emotions it evokes. It's almost coming out of the screen. It's almost 3D in a way.
Yeah.
Something I do like is the curvature. You see the hand curving, and kind of, it's going from the left and making its way kind of to the right. It's very centered, composition wise, it's very centered. It's not what you would think for, maybe a perfect composition, but um and I don't want to get too much into the next image, but I think why it's centered is because of the sister or brother image of this one. Something that I really like that's unique about hands, because you're right, like when I shoot with models, I always tell them, give me a little bit more expression in the hands, soften them up. I really like the way, if you look at paintings from the Renaissance era, very classical paintings, there's so much expression in the hands and the softness of them, or the, if people are fighting, or if it's more of a somber image, you see the pain in the arms too. So I definitely, likewise, definitely agree with hands that, you need to take care of the hands too, especially in photography, because the hands say a lot. And I'm very happy that Mario took hands as a subject. But coming back to what I like about this image that's different from other images that I've seen, and let me zoom in here, is really the focus point. The sharpness is in between the fingers. You have a little bit sharpness here on the tip of the thumb too, but I mean, I haven't seen this before. It's the in betweens that are sharpened, and I'm not sure if this was the photographer's goal, but it is different, and I like different. And it's, the longer you look at it, the more abstract it is, and it definitely makes you feel uncomfortable. And I think that's what the photographer wanted, is
Yeah.
the discomfort this image gives you. So
Yeah,
shall we go to the second one?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to say that really quick, that like there's motion to it, like
a lot of motion.
Because of where the focus is, like how you were saying earlier, and the blurriness on like the tips of the four fingers. It just feels like that reach is there. So yeah.
Like a 3D feel, like, really 3D,
Yeah, very 3D.
I think if you had a couple of drinks and you would look at this, like,
I'd freak out. I'm freaking out still.
So yeah, let's go to the second one. Yeah, go first, because so much.
Okay. Wow. The first thing that I really loved about this picture was the fact that there aren't just coins here. There's an earring.
Yeah. You're
and
right.
then there's a ring, and I was like, what? Like, this is awesome. Like, I'm like everything I've got, everything I could find, everything I have. Here's everything I have, which is nothing. It's just one earring. Where's the other earring? You don't even have the second earring. And I love that there's euros here, because I'm in Europe. And again, just the hands are always telling a story, like I love these hands. They're rough hands. They have like seen time and worked hard. They're hardworking hands, whoever's hands these are.
Might be Mario's hands.
Yeah, and just the darkness behind the shot, just how we can't see anything but the hands, the fact that it's in black and white, and just kind of that like offer, like kind of like this is all I have. This is really that message that I get.
Yeah. Nah, likewise. This is really at first glance, very powerful image. The sharpness is just so sharp, and it works. Again, like, I'm getting European vibes. It might be telling a story about the EU, the European Union, especially with the struggles the EU is going through. But yeah, at first glance, definitely powerful. It expresses power in a way, but like, it's not power, because it's like, this is all I have, and it's not a lot. I love the composition as well too, and how the arms are kind of forming like a shell. It's the way the arms are positioned says so much. This is all I have. I've worked hard for it. You see the texture in the arms. It's almost like you can feel like the fingerprints almost in this
Yeah.
image.
Yeah.
And I love the lines from the arm as well. People that read palms and stuff, but I love those lines, and they kind of guide you towards the coins as well too. And looking back at the previous image, this is very centered. I love that approach. I think the first one is centered because this one is centered. And I love the way how there's a perfect black, the background is perfect black. I love
Yeah.
that fact as well too. And let me see if there's another thing. And yeah, the jewelry, the jewelry is very intriguing. But
Yeah.
overall, this tells me something about the EU and kind of, the struggles of maybe, Europe, like a country in Europe that's part of the EU, but that's kind of on the back ass of the EU. If you get where I'm going towards.
Okay.
Um,
I I personally, because I'm in Europe,
mhm.
I would have not used, there's €2 in there, and there's a €2 coin, and then there's a €1 coin.
Mhm.
Um, I would have not used those coins. I think I would have used, again, like 10 cents, 10 euro cent, 5 euro cent, 1 euro cent, and avoided the €1, €2, because with €3,
1
let's
cent,
see,
5 cent, dollar. You know that song?
yeah, no, no, you'll have to show it to me later. But I can buy something with this money.
Oh yeah.
Like I can still buy like a sandwich here, or something like this. You got €3.20. I think that's like a 50 cent in there.
Yeah,
I
it's not like the US where, I mean, this
I
would
can
have amounted if these were all the US
right.
cents, you would have
Yeah,
bought
it
candy.
would have been different.
Yeah.
But I would have, so yeah, so I feel like to show that like this person like I totally get that the earring and the ring is meant to show like this person really doesn't have much. But I think the when I see the €2 and the €1, I'm like, wait a second, honey, you got €3 in there. I'll take the €2 coin any day. When you give money to a street performer, um, you're not always giving $1. You're giving 50 cents. You're giving like 50 cents, 60 cents, 10. You're giving in America, you're giving coins to
Yes.
the guitar player in the street.
Yeah.
You're not giving any bills. And so like I feel like the €1, €2 is the equal to a dollar bill. €1 is equal to like
Yeah.
$1.50, I want to say, something like that in US. Um, so it's like I think I would have removed the euros and just left cents,
Yeah.
personally.
But I mean, it's. I would say this is more showing what you have rather than giving. You know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
more, and because you also have, besides the coins, you have a ring, which, I mean,
right.
could be an expensive ring. It could
No, and I
be
and I, I I totally get the concept. I totally get the concept. I just think like to drive it home more, to drive the concept home more, I would have just removed the €2 and the €1 and left it at just cents, like just
yeah.
cents. But I get what you mean.
It also, the position of the coins is almost like Olympic, like the Olympic logo, a little bit. Um, it's kind of in
I
that
never thought of
area
that.
a little bit.
Okay, I never thought of it that way. That's
Especially with
interesting.
the circles. Um, Yeah, I kind of like the 2 year. I like the fact that it's different sizes coins,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
different colors, different maybe some the 20 cents is more worn out. Um,
Yeah.
I like that. So let's go to the comparison. Um, so these are both images. What do you think, Sarah?
Um, I love it. I think, it's obvious that like, okay, like this person's at the hand coming in is coming in to take everything I've got.
Yeah,
It's coming to take, and I've got nothing, and they're still taking what I have.
yeah,
I've got very little, and they're still taking it. I do wish that like the top photo with the coins
hmm,
has the black background,
yeah,
and the bottom one I feel like I'm in a home, whereas the top one I feel like I could be more outside. I'm outside. So I wish, or like I don't know where I am. I just see someone who's showing me that they've got nothing. I could be in the street, I could be in a shelter, I'm not sure.
yeah,
But in the one with the hand that's reaching, I wish that like they kind of, I wish the effect had been the same of like not knowing where I am, but in the one where the hand's reaching, I'm inside a home. And so how uh I feel like that's where there's just a tiny bit of disconnect there for me. But otherwise, I think these two work great together. I love the concept. I think the hand reaching for to take the money, or was the feeling that I'm getting,
hmm,
is great, and it's there, and it's so yeah, yeah.
yeah. In looking at the background from the top image versus the bottom image, it's kind of the opposite for me. So
Okay.
the top one you have a darker background, and the bottom one you have a darker arm and a brighter background. I do think that in the top image holding the coins, there was a little bit more attention to detail in that one in comparison to the bottom one. And the that could be an opposite too. The bottom one is, it's barely sharp, and the top one is extremely sharp. So maybe that comparison, kind of those opposites might be made. um, but overall, if I can look back at my notes, I'm seeing reach. The bottom one, you're constantly reaching, constantly trying, and then the top one says that it's never enough. You know the the image holding, like everything you might own or have. The top one is definitely telling me it's never enough. Like life,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no such thing as enough money. Even if you're a billionaire. um, so based on these two images, I'm seeing always trying, it never being enough. That's what these two tell me. So, but definitely the top one works. The top one is, I appreciate more than the bottom one for sure.
I do too. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
strong
Same.
image. So let's go to the next one. So for the, what are we now? Third image, or third series, we have Rafael Juma. So what do you think of the first image, Sarah?
Um, it's just makes me kind of sad. Like, what's going on here? Are they like, what are they build? Are they about to build something? And
So you
they
want to hear
must,
the concept that was submitted with this?
yeah, tell me.
Oh yeah, and the one before was uh, human greed makes the evil world. That was the previous one,
That makes sense.
right? So for this one, um, the title of both images was before and after, and the theme was before and after, untouched nature versus used up nature. Appreciate what's left.
Okay. Can we see the after first?
This
Or
is
do, or is this the, I'm sorry, can we see the before first? So this is the after.
this is
Can we,
after. This is before.
this is the before. Okay, yeah, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Because when I saw these two images, um, I saw the before one first. I'm sorry, I saw which one? The one I saw the
After.
before. Yeah. No, no,
Yeah,
no, no, no. I saw the color, the one, the colorful one first. So my
I see that one as
reaction,
after.
you think the other one's after?
Yeah, because I mean, tell
That's not
tell
how
me
I
what
saw it.
tell me what you think. Let me not.
That is not how I saw it.
And it
Well,
does matter. You know, just a little side note. It does matter which one of the images you see first, based on the story.
yeah,
Like, you know,
right.
I organized them based in, what kind of I felt was right, but it does make a big difference which one you see first. So
It does make a big difference when you see first, because I saw the other one first.
okay,
And now it's really interesting that you're putting this one first, because my reaction, just really quick, to when I saw the other one first
you want to
was,
start with the other one first?
I think we should start with the other one first.
Okay.
I mean, then again, I'm not sure what Raphael meant it to be like. But I saw this one first, and my initial reaction was, wow, there's a lot going on here. I was like, wow, there's so much going on here. There's like the clouds and the wire and the lamp and the trees, and like there's even like a person there on the bottom right hand corner, like
Get
hanging out.
out.
And there's
Oh,
also,
you mean
there's
the
someone
arms, the
there.
hands? Somebody
The
on.
hands.
Yeah,
There's hands there,
I
holding
saw that
holding
earlier.
a phone.
Yeah, but
Holding
I
a
didn't
phone.
realize it was a person. I thought it was like, it was something there.
Yeah, and it's like they're, and it looks like they're taking pictures of the flowers. So like clearly they're appreciating what's going on in this scenery too. And I was like, wow, like there's so much going on, and like the flowers. And then I turned to the next picture and I was like, oh no. Like that was my immediate reaction. Like I was like, oh no. Like that, I was like, they must have destroyed it. Like they must have destroyed this. Um, so that's why when I saw this one first, I was like almost confused.
I do get. I totally get that, but like, tell me first what you think, and then I'll tell you from my point of view. Like how I
Okay.
kind of.
Like what I think of this image.
Yeah, this one. Or
Okay.
the other one first.
Yeah, I just feel like new land, like new things are being made. It is in black and white though. It is in black and white. And black and white does have that more like ominous feel to it.
So
Or it can.
we're talking about the black and white first,
Oh,
or
yeah.
which one do you want to talk about first?
Whichever one you want. Do you want to talk about the I saw the black and white first on the screen. I guess it didn't switch like quick enough, but do you want to talk about the black and white one first?
It's up to you. It doesn't really
Yeah.
matter.
Okay. Yeah. So I was with this one, I was like, well, again, my initial reaction was like, oh my God, they destroyed, after seeing the other one, I was like, they destroyed the land. And just like new things being built, but like it's in black and white. So it's kind of like the ugly side of new construction. Like I'm pretty sure whatever they're going to build here is going to be beautiful, or useful, but at the same time, it's kind of like the circle of life. It's like, and this is kind of like the bottom side of the circle of life. And it's super cloudy. like it's not even clear out.
Yeah.
Like the clouds are gray. It looks like it's gonna rain soon. There's no one here. So I guess people aren't working. um, and yeah, I feel like the viewer kind of like stumbled upon something that's like gone is what I feel.
Yeah. The So for me, I mean, this image, like the way I thought about it is, and to your defense, the theme was before and after, untouched nature versus used up nature. So I'm guessing this is the used up part.
Right.
But the way I saw it, like not considering, the theme is, if and you'll see it in the next one. This is the start of maybe building the next image, because obviously the next image is a canal. It's not a river. Like I'm pretty sure it's a canal in the next one, and the palm trees. It's not that a bird drops seeds exactly, the right distance from each other. It's been planted by us. So, if we're talking about untouched nature, the second one, the colorful one, is not it. Now, I personally think this is the start of the next image, because
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you saw it that way.
yeah, but
I don't know. No, it's cool that you did. I think it's really cool that you did, and there's like it's so much cooler because there is two sides of the same coin, like there is the good and the bad, like and like you ended up seeing this as like, oh, it gets better, like, oh, they created something pretty, and I saw it as like, oh no, they destroyed it.
yeah.
And like, so again, like that circle of life, or that kind of like, those ups and downs, the good and bad, the yin and yang. So it's cool that you saw it like this.
Yeah, but this, talking about this image, gray, I think the black and white definitely works. I love there's kind of four elements here: the sky, then you have kind of the earth, then on the left side you have the trees, and then on the right side you have like the cylinders. I think there's a lot of contrast going here. There's a lot of contrast at play here. Overall, I think the best part about this image is the is kind of the evenness of it. The cylinders versus the trees, the sky versus the earth. I think it might not look at like much at first glance, but it is balanced. It is a balanced image to me. Kind of composition wise, it's very balanced. Did I have anything else? And it feels like it's been, the HDR kind of, the HDR look. It feels kind of like an HDR image.
HDR? I have to look that up.
Yeah, HDR is, it's very intense images, mostly black and white.
Okay.
If you Google it, you'll know exactly what it is. But
yeah,
it's like an editing setting.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's the feeling I get from this. I'm not sure if that's what it is. It might not be, but
yeah, I think
does give me that feeling, especially the clouds.
The clouds, yeah. Okay, I see what you mean. I looked it up. Yeah, I think it is the clouds.
Yeah.
That really give it that feel.
So, shall we go to the next one?
Sure.
Do you want to go, Sarah, or?
Sure. Yeah, this one makes me happy. The other one just makes me sad. Yeah, like I said earlier, like I feel like there's so much going on here. Like the sun is rising or setting. I'm not sure. I think it's setting.
It's
yeah, and and like there's just life, there's water, and there's flowers, and there's palm trees. And again, like there's someone there like appreciating at the bottom right hand corner. I don't even know if the photographer was aware or left that there on purpose, or you know, is that part of the concept. But I was just like, wow, this is so beautiful. And then that's when I flipped to the other image, I was like, oh no, it's all gone.
Yeah. You see, it does matter like which one comes first.
It does matter. Yeah, it does
maybe
matter.
I saw the gray one first, you know.
Maybe you did. Yeah. No, and I didn't. Yeah, and I really like kind of like the repetition here too, the repetition of the palm tree, the repetition of the flower. Yeah, where like the way the water's going. I didn't see this as a canal. I saw it as just like a river. It probably is man-made though, like what you were saying.
Yeah,
It's pretty, but I didn't pay attention to that part in particular. I wish the light pole wasn't there, especially because of the concept that I got, like because of the fact that I was like, wow, this is beautiful. And then the next picture was like, oh no, it's been destroyed. I think if that was the concept that the photographer was trying to do, I would have not put the lamp in there, or would have somehow, like I would have left it all in nature. And I would have even, I think it's okay to even have left the person taking a photo there, like, because it just shows that they're appreciating it. But I feel like that lamp with the wire kind of should be in the second photo, not the first that I saw, not this one.
Yeah, so for me, like that even the lamp being inside this one, you know, it kind of adds where I'm coming from, where you know you have people building something, and now you have this, you know. I totally agree. This is a very beautiful image. Love the yellow background and the sky. And I actually like the light pole because it works for the composition. You know, the canal is guiding you towards the light pole. The trees are guiding you towards the light pole. It's kind of, you know, it's yeah, I just like the composition and the light.
Yeah, that's where the perspective is going.
Yeah. The light pole adds to that composition. I read the main elements in this one, or the main layers, is the sky. Then you have the green, including the palm trees, and then you have the river. So I always like to see, especially landscape. I love to see the composition of those layered elements, and the aesthetics work well for me. Let me see if I had anything else.
I like this picture. I was happy with this picture.
Yeah, it definitely makes you happy.
Yeah, it makes you feel happy. Yeah.
You think it's been edited post? I think that especially the yellows, and you know, I definitely think something has been done.
Yeah, I think something has been done too. I'm not entirely sure what, but.
So this is the comparison. So yeah, definitely I like the comparison. You know, it could definitely, you know, it definitely shows really big opposites. You know, even if you take it before and like the before being in gray and the after, you know, even if you know, even like how you see it versus how I see it, they both work well together.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think I'm curious as to how the black and white would have looked in color, just out of curiosity. I mean, I like that it's in black and white, but I am curious as to what it would have looked like had it been in color. Um,
Hmm.
sometimes I feel like it might not be needed because the message is already there. Like it's gone. I clearly see that everything's gone. It's just dirt.
Yeah.
Um, and so I feel like maybe the black and white might have not been needed, but it still works. I still think it looks good. I like that there are palm trees in both, so it doesn't feel, and like even the clouds are kind of similar, so it doesn't feel like it's like I'm in an entirely new place. And I feel like
Yeah.
they did a good job of that perspective again, like where the palm trees in the first image are going, and where the water's going in the first image is kind of in the same direction where this like dirt path is going. It's
Yeah.
um so it does make me believe or that it's the same place, that it could be the same place. I don't know if it is, but I would think I definitely could believe that it is the same place. So
Yeah. The no, it could very much be the same place. And you're right with the black and white. It's there's maybe the reason why they use black and white is maybe because it fit better, but I'm curious as well too. Um, it might have definitely still worked without the black and white.
yeah, yeah. I wonder about that. Like I wonder if it would have worked without the black and white there.
Yeah, if Raphael is watching, let
Send us
us
the
know
colored
why.
photo.
Okay, let's go to the next one. So the theme for Sadiq's image is um, United Strong. United Strong, One Nation. And image two is kind of expressing like being alone, and this image is expressing united. So what do
Okay.
you think of this image?
Okay, so this was supposed to be the first image. Okay, yeah. Um
Yeah, it's better.
yeah. Yeah. This image, I think it's cool that all those flags are together. I personally wish that like the flags were waving a little bit more. Like I wish it was a windier day.
Yeah.
Um so I could see. I think like when I was looking at it like from afar a little bit, I kind of couldn't tell what they were. But now that I like can look at it closer,
Mm-hmm.
I can see that they're flags. And I like that the sun's in the background and the sun's like rising, I think, or setting, I'm not sure. But again, that sunlight there is really nice. And yeah, I think I'm wondering like if these flags were like on an aisle, because I think the photographer took this from like the parking lot, or I think they're standing on like the parking lot. And I'm curious as to like what the image would have looked like if they had stood at a different angle, maybe like underneath, almost underneath the flags,
Mm-hmm.
because I kind of wish that this parking lot wasn't there, or there was more hedge. Maybe if they had gotten a little bit closer.
Yeah, so
Um,
they crop the bottom out.
yeah, that it just distracts me a little bit. It just
Yeah.
distracts me a little bit. But I love the concept too, because of like what you just said, the description and how everybody stands strong, and the flags all together, and even houses in the back,
Yeah.
and the sunset. So I really do like that.
Yeah, so this image is, I'm pretty sure it's from my home country, Suriname. It's kind of the um there's flags from, it's like a little um it's basically all flags of it's a collection of flags from, from different countries, and it's kind of it's in the capital. It's in the capital of Suriname. So I know a little bit more background from this. I might agree with the bottom kind of cropping that out, but he's shooting at the sun, which
Yeah.
creates kind of a silhouette. I really like yeah, I love silhouettes. I love using, the bare minimum. So I might, I agree a little bit that, it would be a lot nicer if the flags were waving. Um, that would definitely work maybe a little bit more, because he's focused on kind of the theme for this image is kind of feeling being united. Um, let me see. The sky is a little bit purple. I think it might have been edited a little bit because the sky is purple. I'm thinking it was edited a little bit too much, maybe, to my liking. What do you think? Do you think it was?
Yeah,
It
I
was
mean,
accurate?
yeah, I like seeing the purple sky. I feel like it does give it away that it was edited, but at the same time, it doesn't really distract me too much. Like it doesn't really take away from the photo.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, it
I do like the aesthetics. You can see the hedge just a little bit where the sun's hitting it. Um, yeah, overall, it's a pretty balanced image. But I would agree if you don't know where this is and the context, it would be a little bit harder to understand.
mhm. Mhm.
So let's go to the second one now. Um, this one. What do you think?
Yeah, what I was saying earlier about like the like the way these like sticks just kind of cut through this kid's face, I thought was
Yeah.
really cool.
I like
Um,
the X kind of that it forms.
yeah, I think that's super awesome. And even like the triangle on top of his head
Yes, that too.
is really cool. And I like that he's looking down and he's touching the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
I could tell he's touching the dirt. Um, I think the only thing that I would have liked is if he had been wearing something different, because the whole image is like kind of like earthy, dirt, green, you know, and he's kind of, is this an Adidas? You know what I
Let
mean?
me
Like
check. I
he's
was
wearing
just,
an,
yeah, it's Adidas for sure.
it's Adidas. So now that really makes me think, like, I'm like, what? Like, what is this kid who can wear an Adidas shirt doing in this area where it's just the road is dirt. It's not even like a paved road. The um like the weeds, or I don't know, the grass like where the fence is dying,
Yeah.
and something was made here. I'm not sure. So I feel like with the message that he was trying to give,
Mm-hmm.
about often find ourselves alone, sad, and depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like we teenagers,
Yeah.
don't let yourself be left out or deserted. I think it would have been like a good touch, or a different touch that I would have made was just that Adidas, like Adidas. I wouldn't have chosen it, like just a regular shirt
Yeah.
would have been cool, but the
Like a
Adidas kind of,
non-branded shirt.
yeah, kind of like just threw me off.
Yeah.
But I do love this whole concept. I love like there's a road leading somewhere in the back. I love that there's like this just dirt in the front and it sticks not here. Like there's nothing like modern really. There's nothing like, I could be in Colombia if it weren't for
Yeah.
the Adidas. I could easily be like, oh, I'm in Colombia.
Yeah.
you know so yeah.
Yeah, the I like the clothing, but you know, you might be right with the Adidas that as photographers, it's always better to, you know, unless you're shooting for Adidas, you know, it's sometimes better to not use brands in your work, you know, especially if it's more um, artistic. Maybe the theme might be brands. Maybe you want to say something about a brand, but if not, you know, it's always better to use, you know, like a plain shirt that doesn't attract too much attention
Yeah.
by its brand. For this image, it to me, um, you know, I'm pretty sure this is South America. It's Suriname, South America. But you know, not knowing that, this would it looks more like a burial ground for some reason. It, you know, you see the sand, you see the kind of the dead sticks showing out, and I'm only saying that because of the comparison. You know, the one before has poles with flags on it. This one has is more of a dead poles, and you know, him standing in front of it, looking down, touching it. It gives me more of a like a burial, somber feeling in comparison to the other one. So if we look at both, um, what do you think? Do you think these two work, Sarah?
Um, I like how they work in terms of like the poles and the sticks,
Yeah,
like kind of sticking out. And I think that message really works um, with those things together. Cause like the poles, the flag poles go straight up, whereas the sticks go like up and then down. They're
yeah,
just like,
they've been
oh, like,
broken almost.
yeah, like they've been broken or like we tried, but we failed. Um, I think the only thing was that like I do wish that like either there wasn't a person in the second shot or maybe there was a person in the first shot.
Hmm.
And mm, like the first picture being about like being united is like, yes, it has the sun in the background, but it still seems a little bit darker, whereas
Yeah,
the second picture, the light is shining straight on, the sun is shining, illuminating like most of the shot. So I don't, I'm not sure, like uh they both have like what the other, they both complement one another in like a way. um and I understand the message, like I feel like the message is understood
yeah,
after seeing both of them. I think after seeing what, if I just see one of them, maybe not so much, but when I see both of them, I'm like, okay, yeah, I definitely see the contrast here.
yeah. I do see the like visually. I do see the comparison. You know, the flagpoles versus the broken sticks on the one in the right side, but you know, the context that was given, united versus feeling alone, the theme gets lost for me. You know, especially using the teen, you know, mentioning the teens being alone. That kind visually, I can kind of see the comparison. Um, if you bring in the context that the person submitted, it gets a little bit trickier.
Yeah, I agree. I have to agree. Like I feel like it works better. It works for me without knowing the description so
Yeah.
much. And then when I try to fit the description in it, it's kind of a little bit tougher.
Hmm. I like you know, I like the subject of the flagpoles versus the sticks that have been broken. I like that comparison, and I would have loved to have seen um, this photographer focus more on that and showing that comparison between the flagpoles and the broken sticks. I think
Yeah.
those key elements would have won me over, if the focus was on it more. Coming back to what you mentioned with the, the person being on the run on the right side, maybe taking him out, going closer into the broken sticks, focusing closer on the broken sticks, and then on the left side, focusing more on the flagpoles, and comparing those two, I think you would have had a better working series. So,
Agreed.
so yeah. So let's go to the next one. So the next one, we are in New York City, the
Okay.
epicenter
Are
of
we are we sure this is the first one we're supposed to look at?
Let me see.
I just want to know.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. What do you think?
I don't know why, but like, okay, well, maybe I do know why a little bit, but I love this picture. I just love the mood. Um, you can tell that it was taken on film.
Yes, it was. So a little bit more background on, this series. The 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 theme is feeling kind of the feeling in New York right now during these difficult times. This is a recent image. It was shot on film. Um, and the photographer really wanted to show how New Yorkers are feeling now, and he believes New York is kind of feeling dead or asleep right now in comparison to the city that never sleeps. He is claiming that New York is finally sleeping right now, almost dead, almost,
Yeah.
because of all the COVID, the COVID deaths. And another interesting part about this image, so the photographer went out, he bought a film roll, and he shot everything, and he hurried to develop that film. But the dark room, they destroyed most of the film he gave them, and these were the only two images that that survived.
Wow.
So, yeah, so
I
that
don't know whether to laugh or cry.
so that is very, very, very thought provoking.
That is an
Definitely
interesting
has
story behind it.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Story. So
yeah.
visually, what do you think?
I love it. I feel like the sun is setting on New York. You can clearly see it's New York in the background because of this cityscape in the background. And I love that the light's coming from the side, and it's just kind of like taking, like the sun setting in New York, like it's
Yeah.
like metaphorically speaking even.
Yeah.
And it's just taking away like all the light, from, it starts from like the dark right hand corner, it's just almost completely dark. um and I like that there's no one there.
Yeah.
I also found it really cool that the American flag isn't even all the way up.
Mm-hmm.
The American flag is like halfway up, it's not all the way up in the pole. So it's like even America is struggling, um and it's not the trees, like it's what are we in May? I don't even know what month we're in. We're in May, and like
Yeah.
the trees barely have any leaves in it still. Like the trees should be happier in May, and they're
Yeah.
not. So I thought that was really cool. I really like this image. I love this orangey sunset that sets like the mood of the whole image. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. No. I agree with you as well. It's good that you saw the flag, and I didn't realize that the flag was half pole. I didn't realize that. I did see the flag, which is kind of pretty. It's pretty hidden, which I really, really appreciate. And it's half pole, meaning like something kind of to, you know, something bad has happened. People have died. I didn't see that. It's a really great image. It's, you know, the fact that you can see the skyline in the back. You know, the skyline is the accent in this entire
Oh,
picture.
totally. Yeah, I think
Um,
without that skyline, we could be anywhere too.
yeah, we could be in any city, small, big, you know, but the skyline is definitely sets this image apart. Um, and I actually think this is early morning, and I'm pretty sure it's morning because
Interesting.
the photographers said that he went out in the morning, you know,
Interesting.
and he submitted a whole write up. This was a pretty interesting day to him. But aesthetically, the image works. I love when um, you know, when you see the composition wise, you know, you have the sky,
Yeah.
you have the accent of the the skyline, and then you see what is a soccer field, which is then squashed in, and then you have the pavement. On the right side, you have like a court of some sorts, maybe a tennis or a baseball court. um, and I love the balance. So the sun is rising, and then on the left side and then on the right side, you kind of still have the darkness. So orange versus kind of blue, the darker blues. I love how the sun, you know, is hitting the fence on this side. You know, and the highlights that it's kind of, you know, it's showing you the bare minimum of the fence, which I really appreciate. For some reason, I really enjoy highlights, especially on objects. Um, and the full image is like, you know, it's like you've taken a step back. You know, it's a pretty far distance from you know the center, but it's like you've taken a step back and it's very quiet. The fact that there's no people there, it's just an extremely quiet image.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like you've taken a step back to actually, you know, get a better glimpse of the city, which, you know, the context it was submitted with, you know, that New York is finally sleeping. You know, it really this image really expresses, you know, it's quiet. There's, you know, it just it sings very quiet to me. Let me see if there's anything else that I wrote down.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean about like the stepping back thing. I think there's a terminology for it in film, which I don't know, unfortunately, where you know how like in movies,
Mhm.
um, you know, like when the character like realizes something or
Mhm.
like they're in shock, and like the camera does this thing where like everything else pulls back except the person's face, so it looks like they're like the world is like falling on them or something like that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Are
Like
you talking
when
about the jaw scene where they, you know,
oh
I think you move
no,
closer to the
it
subject
used
while right now? Is that
that's
what you mean?
exactly what I'm talking about. Yes.
Yeah. The
Yeah, and I so
cowboys,
it
they did in the cowboy movies where the background is getting bigger and bigger, right?
yeah, or
As
not like
they,
bigger. Yeah, like it's just kind of like whoa, except the person's not moving. You know, it's kind of like
yeah,
you know. And you just see like, and it's usually in movies where like the person just goes like this to the camera, and then like the camera, and they're like, and then the camera does it. You know, like does
yeah,
this thing, and so I feel like that's what's happening to New York. It's kind of like that effect, that like same effect of
yeah,
like a doom, of like a realization of like, oh my god, like, you know,
yeah.
something's happening.
Yeah, if you look down here to the shadows that the trees kind of form, can you see the flag? No, you can't see the flag that well, but I love these shadows as well.
Yeah, the shadows of the
Be-
tree. Yeah.
yeah, before we go to the next one, it's almost, like an outer body experience almost. In the same context of taking a step back, it's kind of an outer body experience, especially how there's no one there. Kind of looking at the city from outside of the city, if I can put it like that. But yeah, overall great image, a lot to think about, and unfortunately good timing.
Yeah.
So let's go to the next one. All right, what do you think about this?
Yeah, this one I love the where the light's coming from too. I love that like Jonathan took it like kind of behind some plants, some flowers. So I
Yes.
feel like I'm like peeking in. I feel like I'm peeking into the graveyard. Like I'm not necessarily
Yeah.
in the graveyard, but I'm like peeking into it. And again, it's kind of like almost sad, but not because the sun's there. But at the same time, the sun, gives those shadows and like it's a graveyard. So it's like, oh no, like it's a graveyard. And I just feel like it's really well balanced with the graveyard being kind of sad, but then the sun is there, and these flowers in front of me, or these this plant that he was behind is there too.
Yeah.
Um, I like that there's no one there also, and again, just kind of like,
I mean, there's people there, but they're just not there.
yeah, you're so funny. Yeah, I really like this image as well.
Yeah. The like for me at first glance, this looks like a very beautiful image, but then second glance, you're like, oh shit, it's a graveyard, gravestones. But it still has that beauty element to it, that's extremely softness to it. Um, you know, uh, like you, I love the yellow specks, that are kind of blurred out because they're that close to the camera. I love the fact that the sun is, I think it's early morning, so the sun is just starting to kind of peak above the horizon, and I really appreciate how the sun is starting to hit the grass very soft. So you see those specks of light on the grass. Beautiful. And also you see the volume of gravestones because of the sun and the little highlights. All
Mm,
the tops or most of the tops of the gravestones are have a highlight on them because of the sun. I That's a great shot. I also appreciate the trees in the background, and that you can kind of see through those trees, like it's like paint spatter on those trees. Overall, I think it's a very thought-provoking image, beautiful shot. Of yeah, of reality.
yeah.
The, the description submitted with this image was also that the fact that only these two images survived from the 24 roll film roll, and the journey that this person went on just to capture this. I love the fact how taking a step back, no one there, and showing the city from, a kind of an outer body form, and then showing this says a lot to me. Because I mean, I've heard
Yeah.
stories from New York, and I can't even imagine the people that live through that daily. I mean, in Miami, yeah, it's scary all over the world, but New York is ground zero. you know. So it's yeah, it must be
Yeah.
scary to be there. This person
Y-
captured that.
Yeah, and I like it's like there's a calmness to it and but
Yes,
it's sad.
it's very quiet. These images are very, very quiet.
Yeah, very quiet, very calm. And
Hmm.
I'm creeped out by graveyards. Like I mean, I don't really want to step into one. I would
Yeah,
like to avoid them.
yeah,
um but I feel like I want to walk into this one. I
yeah,
feel like I want to walk into it.
yeah.
And kind of like enjoy the sun almost. And
Mm.
I don't normally feel that way about graveyards. I feel like graveyards tend to be like, in at least in pictures and in films, tend to be creepy or you know, like they're used to show something ominous. And I feel like Jonathan did such a good job of balancing that ominous with like the light. It's like, yes, these things are happening, but hey, the sun still rises and I'm still here,
Yeah,
you know, and we're still here. Um, so I really think that's really cool. Life is still happening. Like
yeah,
even if these are graveyards and there's people in the graveyard, um, the trees are still growing and the plants are
mhm,
still growing and the sun is still there and the light is still
yeah,
shining. So I
yeah.
really like that.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. These are two images that I think work very well together. You know, that like the theme was New York is finally sleeping. You know, it was a city that
Yeah.
never slept, but it's finally sleeping, which is, you know, it's kind of fucking eerie to hear that and to kind of see it in visual form. Very well done. Very
Yeah.
well.
I think, you know, looking at these images um together,
Mm-hmm.
I like personally, if I were to like post these somewhere or hang these up somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
I would put them next to each other rather than like one above the other,
Mm,
where like um it's kind of like a continuation because of the sun would be in the same place. The sun would be centered if I were to put these next to, like if I were to
mm.
put
So the
movies next to each other.
graveyard on the left and
The
the other.
graveyard on the left, yeah.
Yeah.
And then so like if I saw them like in a book or something, I'd be like,
Yeah.
okay, like that they're that the sun would be that flow. The sun would be the continuation.
Yeah, it connects both of them.
Yeah, I think that if these were next to each other that way, it would connect more, that flow more, especially with the orangey there.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree. Um, Again, they work very well together. It's you know the top one being a closer look. You're being close to um, you know, to the death that's happening,
Yeah,
and the bottom one being like, you know, taking a step back and looking at a quiet city. It works well, you know.
yeah,
They work
I
well
have to
together.
agree. Hmm.
So let's continue. All right, so this is by Gino Data, from Europe. This is in Holland, in Rotterdam.
Wow, I'm so jealous. I gotta go to Rotterdam.
Yeah, from what I know, Rotterdam has beautiful modern architecture.
Yeah, yeah, it does. Um,
So what do you think?
I geeked out when I saw this. I was like, architecture, because
Yeah,
obviously
this
I
is
love
definitely your
architecture.
style.
it's more, it's a little bit up my alley. It just makes me happy.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I love this view
Hmm.
that Gino chose. I'm seeing like the underbelly of a monster that I can't fathom. You know, I'm like, oh my God, like what is this giant thing that is just like, it's like if a whale were a building, I'm seeing like the underbelly.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. Like that's really cool, especially like how I can compare it to the other buildings, like in size a little bit. Like I
Mm-hmm.
can, the other buildings there kind of show me the size.
Yeah.
I do wish that like the sky was different, or that there was less highlights in the clouds,
Mm-hmm.
but I still love this. Like I love the composition of this image. I
Yeah.
mean, I love that like I would guess that the whatever this architecture is was split in half and took up this left space and kind of left the other space empty. And just how the light is hitting it too. I would have taken away the blues on the architectural piece,
Mm-hmm. What do you
and just
mean the
like like the light blue on the structure reflecting
yeah, yeah, yeah.
from the sky. I would have taken that away. I personally, in like post editing, just
Yeah.
kind of taken the blue out. um but I love this. I want to know what it is. I
So
want,
this building is it's a central
yeah,
station in Rotterdam.
cool. Yeah, no, I was just saying, like, you know, seeing the image makes me want to know like what it is, you
Yeah.
know. um and it's just very intriguing. I love this. I can't get enough of this kind of thing.
Nice. It's when you mentioned the underbelly of the big whale, I did not look at it. I that opened up a whole new world to me. At first glance, lovely composition. It's something that I would have, done similarly if I had to take a picture of this. But I love how you mentioned, kind of taking, if we go to the next image, people would rather think to take a picture of that and not, think about more, this is more aesthetics, and taking an image from a different point of view that not everyone might have taken. So I appreciate the underbelly approach. I kind of love the reflection from the sky um, into this area. I might have left it, exactly like it is. The thing I do notice is, he might have used a filter post edit, because I see kind of that lagoon, that lagoon
Oh
green,
yeah,
blue,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
and it kind of works because it gives you like kind of a colder feeling, which our architecture is kind of cold, kind of colder colors,
Yeah.
instead of warm. So I do get it, maybe a little bit too much, but I had to look closely. If the sky is so perfect, I was checking to make sure that the sky, wasn't done in post, but I'm pretty sure it was taken this way. And if it was a really a perfect day.
I think the day is beautiful. I
Perfect.
think where the sun is, like where the sun hit
Mhm.
the structure was
Yeah,
really great. And yeah, that blue of the sky is just really nice. Um
the clouds, like the
yeah, I feel like I just would have like taken away the highlights. Just I feel like the clouds are just a little bit too highlighted for me, because it's just,
So you would show more of the building rather than because I do get where you're coming from, that the clouds are taking a lot of attention.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the cloud, my eye just wants to look at the cloud because it's so bright.
Yeah.
It's so like there, you know. But it's still great. I mean, it's great. It's I love this.
The
Um,
No, go ahead.
I think I would have also in post taken away the poles at the top of the other buildings,
Mm, okay.
and even the label, the KPMG,
Mm,
like I maybe even taken that out.
yeah.
I just just don't, you know, like words.
Yeah, minimal.
Yeah, minimal. Yeah, just made it a little more minimal. I I totally get that they made it, why they made it in black and white, which I like. Like the buildings at the bottom are they made it into black and white.
What do you mean?
Um,
Post, or is it actually black and white buildings?
no. I think in post they took the color, whatever color
Hmm.
that those buildings had was taken away.
What is it?
You think it's like this? You want to zoom in on it? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this was not. There's, dude. I see KPMG in
Yeah,
Europe.
look, you see the color here.
Where?
You see the blue?
On top of the
It's been
building?
taken
But
out.
that's
It's been taken out, the color. You're right.
yeah, because I've seen KPMG in Europe,
Yeah.
and I think I've seen that sign, and that sign is like blue, like this,
Yeah, no,
like it's like
I didn't realize it. I think they left the color here too from the sky, no? They did leave.
yeah, they left the color on the of the sky on the structure, on the large structure, which I would have personally taken that out. And like the white is cool. Like the white on it is great. I think that highlight is really great, and I think I would have left that there.
Mhm.
Um, I could see why they left the buildings, and I could see why they took the color away, as to not draw the eye to the buildings, or for the buildings to not take away from the large structure.
Mhm.
um, I would have taken the poles out, just because it's distracting me a little bit.
Mhm.
But I think, I don't know what the colors of the buildings were originally.
I mean, you can see
I
here. It's blue. Like, look, you see?
Yeah, I just think, yeah, you can, like, yeah. It even says cool blue on there. Um, I just think that, I think Gino kind of having that concern of, well, let me make these buildings black and white. Let me take the color out of these buildings, so that way it
Mhm.
doesn't take away from the large structure. I'm
Mhm.
curious as to know what the colors were, because maybe they didn't take away from the large structure, because I feel like what takes away from it more are the highlights of the clouds. Um,
Yeah.
because there's so much, the clouds are like on different levels. You have a cloud at the bottom, you have a cloud in the middle, and you have a cloud at the top, whereas the
Yeah.
buildings are just on the bottom.
Yeah.
And this structure is taking up the entire left side of the image. So I
Mhm.
feel like the concern of taking the color away from the buildings at the bottom, um, may not have needed to be there. That worry may not have needed to be there. I would have worried about more of the highlights of the clouds, um,
Yeah.
than the buildings at the bottom.
Yeah, I think I think a better approach would have maybe been to just do the whole thing black and white. But then,
That too, yeah.
but considering, I didn't realize that this was made black and white. To be fully honest, it's maybe because the larger building on the left side, you know, it might just be because that one just has one color because I think it's made from aluminum, and you'll see a better image of it in the second one, which is which the colors were left. I didn't realize that the colors from the KPMG building were removed. That didn't really strike me, but um, maybe just if he had made the whole image black and white, it would have worked a little bit better. Some advice I would maybe give, and this is more to, you know, if because you're right, the clouds are demanding a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Might be because of the color and the highlights. But one thing I would advise, especially you know, with this area where you want people to focus on, is to use the dodge and burn tool, and you know, really make these, you know, these lines darker. And with the dodge tool, you can make, you know, the metal areas stand out a little bit more,
Mm.
or even play with the levels. But you know, I use a lot of dodge and burn, you know, to um, in post edit to kind of make things I want to push out more. You know, if I want to draw attention to this, I'm gonna like one by one dodge the burn the darker areas and kind of push out the you know, the areas I want to make brighter,
Mm.
with the dodge tool. So that's something I would advise. That's something I would do. That's the approach I would take.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
you wanna,
or even like highlight it more or something like that. Like
yeah,
the shadow, just bring out just a little less shadow of the underbelly of what I'm
yeah.
looking at. Yeah.
Because I am all for post editing. I'm pretty sure you are too, Sarita, especially when it
Yeah.
comes to architecture. But yeah, like definitely play with the dodge and burn, if you want to highlight specific areas.
Good to
Um,
know.
yeah, shall we go to the next one?
Let's see the next one.
So yeah, what do you think of this one?
I love this after seeing the first one too, because I feel like I I feel like it turned or I turned. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I was seeing it and now it like turned. I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but it's like the image like show the structure showed itself to me, or it turned its face to me. Like now I can see what it is. It just kind of tilted. So I really like that. Um, I love this, you know, I love this structure. I love the way it's pointing up. I love the way that it's the composition of it between the trees. I love stuff like that. Like I love how it's framed by the two trees. And again, the sky is really great. This cloud I like. Um, I personally wish that maybe the like sign and the train at the bottom weren't there. Like maybe I would have taken that out or cropped it, or if possible, taken it just a little bit higher. Um, but I really like this. I love the shadow of the tree on the structure as well. And this, I just feel like I'm seeing its face. I feel like I'm seeing it the side of its face now. Oh, I can't hear you. What happened? Did you mute? I can't hear you.
Hear me now?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay. You sure?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
So yeah, yeah. So did you have anything else to add for this one?
Well, tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, so I actually like the approach he took with this image, you know, kind of showing more. So, you know, you saw more of the underbelly in the previous image, kind of more focused upwards. This one it's been taken from a ground level, you know, the level we live on, kind of, like the everyday life. And I actually like the fact that he left the 400 euro sign, showing you what looks like the train, what looks like a factory building in the background. It's more of a closer to everyday life approach compared to the first one. Um, I like the trees, the fact that the like um, how nature, interacts with more of a highly urban, modern urban setting. Um, Again, the sky is perfect again. Um, and it's showing more of the everyday life that we get caught up in. It's more of a, compared to the first one, it's more, the first one is showing more the architecture, kind of a larger than life setting. This one is showing more of a, from the point of view that we see every day, and it's fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
I love the material of the structure. It's kind of giving me a feeling of aluminum, like the B-52 bombers, the airplanes from World War II. It's kind of
That's
giving me
cool.
feeling, the material. I'm a big World War II guy, so it's it's really giving me those B series bomber planes feeling. And let me see if I have anything else. No, I like that he took a, like he went to the ground a little bit more in this one. He took a step back, but he included more of the surroundings.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I. So if we look at both now, let's see. Yeah. What do you think of both laid next to each other?
Um, Interesting. I would play with the like what with what I usually do with my photos and flipping it in order to make them
You
flow
would
together.
flip. You would flip. Oh, you would just put the right one left and the left one right.
I'm not sure. Maybe I would do it like that. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure how I would do it. I would have to play with it. But like this, I think this also works. I really like that the first image
Mm-hmm.
is like the underbelly, and it makes you wonder,
I like the underbelly approach.
it makes you wonder like what it is. In the first image, like what is this? And then in the second image, we're told what it is. So I like that flow. I like that story. Also the fact that the skies matched, it's obviously like the same edit, the same it's like the same edit.
Mm-hmm.
I wish like because the building on the one in the right
What do
has
you
some,
mean? What do you mean with the same edit? Like the bottom has been, the, they've removed the color at the bottom.
well, I just mean like, yeah, I was just gonna say like like I feel like the train, maybe the train and the sign, like it's also black and white. Like I feel like that sign, that 400 euros, I don't think that sign is completely black and white. I don't think
Yeah.
that sign is completely like it's like the original was completely black and white.
Yeah. There are still, I mean, you can see the green of the trees, and you can see like
Yeah,
there's still a little bit color above the train. There's still color
totally.
above the train.
I wish that because the windows of the building on the second image are blue, I wish like the buildings on the first image, the windows of the buildings in the first image were also blue, just to have that matchup.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like, I love these two images. I love seeing them together. I could totally see these two images hanging up in my house easily.
Yeah.
I don't, I personally would have played with like flipping of it.
Mm.
Like I think maybe I would have flipped the first image. But maybe not. I really like it the way it is as well. So I love these. I could definitely see these hanging in my home. If I was in a store and I saw them, I would probably buy them together. I really like these images. Good job, Gino.
Nice. Yeah, no, I think it's a great shot. Definitely, he's definitely made the structure main accent. But when looking at them together, the first image tells more of an aesthetic, clean story, and the second image kind of brings it more down to our level. Still a beautiful structure, but more on the level that we live on each day, and more of an urban setting. So the first one is more the aesthetics, the flow, and the second one is more a realistic approach. And what both do together for me is that it's the same structure but taken with different styles. I like that play on using one subject but giving us two point of views. It's like you live in the same building, but we all have different views. Quoting Drake. I like that approach. I like how he's playing with that.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%.
So let's go to the next one. So the theme was expectations versus what we get in reality. So what we think is going on versus what is actually going on.
Yeah. Which image are we seeing first? Though, okay, it was loading for a second. Are we seeing where she has the flame? Where she has the flame?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I love pictures that have that one light, and I love it when it's fire. I just feel like fire is so interesting. It's like one of the elements and whatnot. And it's the only light. It's the only light in the room. I took a picture a long time ago when I was like in college of one of my friends holding a lighter, and just that was the only light used. And also when someone's like lighting their cigarette in like a dark place, and it's like you can just see like only like this part of their face. I like love that concept. I love stuff like that. I love that, like, again, like this is the only light in this dark room. I wish like maybe it was just a little bit further away from her face, just a tiny bit further away, where it still lights her face but doesn't light her nose and like the top of her lips so much. And like maybe have the flame be a little bit smaller. I don't know how that would be possible, but like just like a little bit small, or the flame be smaller if it's going to be that close, something like that, just where the light doesn't hit so harshly. But I love like this facial expression, like kind of like up to no good, and the eyes, she has beautiful eyes, like the way they shine on her eyes. And I just love it. I love like where it's cut too, like I can just see her shoulders. It's just like up here. And it's interesting. Like it tells a story. Even standing on its own, it tells a story.
Yeah. I agree as well. I think maybe the light I love the one light source. I love the one light source approach. Most photo shoots I do, I usually start off with two lights, but then, as I'm starting to get closer to the shots I want, I mean, one light always works better for me. More shadows, it defines facial features more. So I like the one light approach, the one light source approach. You might be right; it might be a little bit too close to her face. Maybe a little bit further away would kind of sculpt the face a little bit better.
Yeah.
But again, like we're seeing just enough, and the expression that she has is like I found you,
Yeah.
you've been looking for something in the dark with a light, and the expression is, hey, I finally found you. She has that little smirk, that little smile, that little Mona Lisa smile, that I found you smile. Something that just struck me too is that kind of the flame is right under her eye. I could say it's a tear, but I don't want to go there because, I don't think that was the intention, but it's exactly under one of her eyes, which I think is
Yeah.
kind of works. The And I love how the light source starts in the center and kind of fades out, and I love how it's kind of touching her hair. You see the movement in her hair, and I also like coming back to compartmentalizing, the body. Like you're seeing the two separate shoulders, and then you kind of see the neck, a little bit of the chest, and then the face. I love how her body is kind of compartmentalized like that. Um, so yeah, cool image.
She was like, she said, like kind of like expectation versus reality,
Yeah. So this is the
you know?
expectation part.
But she put as the image title as like whoops. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What?
Okay. So we haven't seen the whole thing yet
Yeah.
then. Okay.
So the next one. So this is image two.
This is great. This made me laugh, like in a
Yeah.
good way. I had a nice hearty laugh
Yeah.
about this. I this is really cool. I mean, she must have like smudged her face, like she must, like I like that she like smudged her face, probably like she probably got her hands dirty and just like dirtied her face
Mm.
for the shot, and then even like stuck matches in her hair.
I
I think,
just saw the mesh. I didn't see it before. Right.
yeah, I think that's really cool. Yeah, I think that's such a really, I think on the left side there might be another match too, like right where her ear is.
A little piece of wood. Yeah.
Yeah, or something like that, like a little piece of wood. So I really like that. I thought that was really cool. And yeah, I love that she committed. She messed her hair up.
Yeah.
She smudged her face.
She went all in.
She went all in. And I like that she still held the flame. I think because we saw the first image, if she had held it a little bit closer to her face, like in the same position it was before.
Mm-hmm.
I think also like after seeing the first image too, or maybe not after seeing the first image necessarily, but in this picture she looks scared to me.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I wish she looked more shocked than scared. Like I wish they had the expression had been more like, like especially if the title was like whoops.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wish I was seeing more of the like, and maybe like looking at the light that just blew up in her face or something, and been like, oh, like, like kind of like a shock rather than like a fear. And Yeah, I think it's great. I think even the background's kind of cool.
Yeah,
It makes me wonder, like, are you in a bathroom? Where are you?
yeah, it kind of looks like bathroom tiles.
Like bathroom tiles, and but it's still, I like the aesthetic of it though. I mean, I like that the tone of it
Yeah,
matches the tone of like her face and her skin.
yeah.
So
The yeah, compared to the first one, this is the total opposite. Where the light source was in the center and kind of getting darker as it was making its way outwards. In this one, you have the light source kind of coming from the outside and kind of the center being just a little bit darker. Um, I like the shine, the two kind of light sources in the eyes. The eyes definitely tell the story for me.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Um, and you can see, I believe Sarah is a filmmaker. I could feel that. I could sense that kind of, I want this to be a film, or it looks like a shot was captured from a scene. This
Mm.
is like this second image is right after the moment, right after shit blew up, right? Like a little bit disoriented look after. Let me see. Yeah, and everything is the opposite, from the nice hair to the messy hair, from nice skin to messy skin, from a little smile to more of a shook, like she's been shook look. Um,
Yeah,
and the background, revealing the background. Um, it's a nice contrast from the first one. It's
I
me. It's the polar opposite of the first,
yeah, I agree.
and you can see it, in both images compared to each other. Um, you can see it as well. Kind of
I do I do wish that she had been wearing the same thing though. Like in the first one you can tell that she's wearing like a black top. And I wish that in the second one she had still been wearing that black top.
maybe it blew off.
True. Yeah, true. Maybe it blew out. Yeah,
Yeah,
that could be it also.
it blew up or it burned off her.
Yeah.
I
It
think,
definitely tells a story.
yeah, almost in a film, like it's almost like a film almost. It's yeah, especially the second one is it's I know Sarah's a filmmaker, so I get that feeling from it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the next image is by Carl Friedrich, and the theme was couch potato. He wanted to express Sunday as a couch, and really express couch potato and the contrast between color and black and white.
Okay.
So what do you think?
Um the things that stand out to me the
Bring my
most is like
dog in.
the
Bring my
stripes.
dog into this. Mm-hmm.
Ah, look at the cutie pie.
Gotta cut her hair.
Yeah, yeah, so the stripes really catch my eye, and then the bar sign in the
Mhm.
back also really catches my eye.
Yeah.
I will say though that I guess I don't know what the expression is, maybe like a bone to pick or something. When it comes to like
What?
a bone to pick, I don't know. There's a saying like that, like a bone to pick. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I have to look it up. Yeah,
But
like
what are you
kind of
trying? What do you mean?
like something that bothers me. There's an expression that's something that bothers me a little bit.
In this?
In like with like portrait photography that I see today
Mm-hmm.
is kind of like I'm a little bit tired of, or like it's been too saturated for me in my reality that that we make women or just girls or just portraits kind of look pretty, like kind of it's she's like the theme is or the the concept was couch potato, and I feel like I see that, or I feel like I see like, okay, she's sitting on a couch, okay, she's in her underwear, she's drinking coffee, she's clearly at home, but her makeup's done and her eyelashes are, are long, and her hair is nice, and it's almost like I don't buy it. I kind of, it's a little staged. It feels a little bit staged
Yeah.
to me because of that like pretty look, of that kind of like that pretty, like, because when I think couch potato, I am like hideous. My hair is
Yeah.
messy,
Messy hair, yeah.
messy
Hair is what
hair.
comes to mind.
Yeah, I'm like eating, I'm stuffing my face or something, like I have the remote in my hand or whatever, or my phone in my hand or something, like and so I just feel like it's a little bit staged, or I just don't really buy it. It's a beautiful picture. I'm not taking that away at all. She's a beautiful girl. It's a beautiful image. She captures my attention. I love what she's wearing. I love the stripes on the underwear and the socks and the shirt. I also love that um, she kept, or the photographer kept, I don't know if they did it intentionally or not, but they kept the hair tie, because a lot of photographers will be like, take the hair tie out, take the hair tie out,
Yeah.
in their
From her
shots.
wrist, right?
Yeah, from her wrist, and that was left there. So I feel like that's kind of like, this is such an honest thing that girls have. So I like that was left there. Like normally, like that's taken out of the shot.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I like that she's looking at us, but at the same time, again, with like the concept of like couch potato, I wish she wasn't. um I I also feel like she's just a little bit tense. The shoulders are up just a little bit, just like
Yeah.
this, a little bit.
So not intense with the stare, just intense with the pose.
Yeah, tense here, not intense, just tense here,
Okay.
tension here, just a little bit. So yeah, I think it's really nice. It's still a really beautiful picture. She's a beautiful model.
Yeah.
And I love the stripes.
Yeah, no. For me, it does tell me Sunday comfort, on the couch, lazy. The on the top left, the bar sign, kind of, leaving Saturday behind, coming into to Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon. Some things I would have loved to have seen more is, the theme was couch potato, and the couch is a big part of that. And while you see the couch, I would have liked to have seen more of the couch, the texture, maybe a little bit more light. um, it looks like a brown couch. I would have loved to have seen more texture, or maybe taken just a step back, maybe not, but show me a little bit more of the couch. I would have loved to see the reflection of the bar sign. You can see it on the couch a little bit. I would have loved to have seen more of that for
Yeah.
some reason. It definitely works well with this shirt. Everything striped, from the socks to the underwear to her top to even the hairband. It works. And if you look on the right side of the screen, you see like a red pillow. I think red and black one. I would have loved to see more of the red for some reason. It would have worked well
Yeah,
with the
like what
cup,
is the other side of the
the
pillow?
coffee cup. Yeah. She's extremely centered. She could have maybe been to the side a little bit more and then brought in the red cushion. Um, Definitely girl on couch on Sunday, just chilling. I think this image could work extremely well as a stock image. I might have seen it before, but if you put this on a dope stock or an ice stock, you might make money with it.
True.
So definitely not a bad thing.
It's not a
But
bad
I've
thing.
definitely
Yeah.
but I've definitely seen this before. Kind of modern emo girl. You know, kind of drinking a cup of coffee, sitting on the couch. Um, you know what she looks like? She looks like a gaming girl. Like she games. Like
Yeah,
a
I
gamer
could
girl.
totally see that. And I
Or
think I would have,
YouTuber. YouTube girl, like
yeah,
that has
I
her
could
own blog.
definitely, yeah, I feel like I would have liked it more if she was holding a remote, an Xbox controller or something like that.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. That would have been interesting to see. Um, yeah, I I just feel like some rules could have been broken here a little bit. Like something, I don't know how to explain it. That's the best way to explain it. I feel like I could explain it.
Yeah.
Like something, I want more. I want more. It's
Yeah.
beautiful and it looks
It's
great.
it's playing it very safe.
It's playing it very
Um,
safe. Yeah, I think
yeah,
that's what it
playing
is.
it very
Yeah.
safe. That's why I mentioned kind of more in it's more in the stock photography realm. To be honest, I had to I did my research on the submissions because I saw them great images, and it was a little bit too good of images, so I had to double check. So I did the Google image search, and I came on the photographer's profile, on Carl's profile. So it's all legit, but it was so safe. Like it was, I had to double check it, and
Yeah. Like
it's
it could
fully
be like,
legit, but it's too safe.
yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. It could be like on Tumblr. I feel
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
Tumblr picture too. Um
Mhm.
it's still nice. It's still a nice photo.
Yeah, it could work. It could definitely work. But you're right. With like, he left us wanting more.
Yes.
So shall we go to the second one?
Sure.
This is the second one. What do you think?
I definitely I feel like I like this one better.
Me too, for sure. This one is a little bit more personal.
A little bit more personal. Yeah. And just kind of like the flow of her body, um, takes us it takes us on that journey. We start on her face and we take the journey down to her body.
Yeah.
Um, um, and I like that it's black and white, but I'm also curious as to what it would have looked like in color, especially because the first one was in color.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Again, I like that the hair tie is on her wrist.
Yeah.
I still think she looks a little bit tense. There's just a little bit of tension there. I don't know where it is. I don't know if it's on her shoulders. I think that when you lay like this, like, um maybe when you lay more like more, I don't know, I'm not sure, but there's something here that
Yeah.
I feel like
Maybe
there's
it's an
tension.
uncomfortable position.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
more
it
comfortable
looks a little bit more
position.
comfortable.
Yeah, maybe a pillow. I don't know.
The To me, this image definitely works a little bit better for me. But coming back to the theme of things, again, I would have loved to have seen more of the couch, which was,
Yeah.
the main focus was couch potato. I'm barely seeing the couch here, and I would have just loved to see more of it. Actually, it the black and white works for me. Um,
Yeah.
so you can clearly see that it's the same girl. She has a very both images. She has the same look, from her eyebrow, which helps to. She has the same kind of gaze. Her position, that the line, all the lines are going into the right direction. you know, um, and all the lines are guiding you towards her face and her eyes. So I think that works from even the hairband on her hand to the lines. Both images compared to each other have a lot of lines. I think that's the main theme.
Yeah.
And the lines they all guide you. But I would have liked to see more of the couch in this one.
I think, yeah, I agree with you. And I do like that there's that shadow on the left, like
Mm-hmm.
like the photographer was peeking.
Yeah, something in front of her, right?
Yeah, like
Or
the
something in
photographer
front of
was,
the lens.
yeah, something in front of the lens, which is why I'm curious to know what it would have looked like if it wasn't black and white. Um, I like how you were saying, or how you were saying about like the concept, the couch potato thing. Um, they also said uh, one is so colorful. They said it. He said in the description, one is so colorful yet still dark, while the other is completely without color with the same dark mood.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like, I don't know, how do I explain this? Like that could have been accomplished with the photo and not necessarily the color, if that makes any sense. Like
You
I
mean
feel like,
the dark mood?
yeah, like when like one is so colorful yet still dark, but when he says yet still dark, I wish he wasn't talking about the color. I wish he was talking about like still dark in another way. Like maybe she was doing something that made the image feel more ominous, or that made it more like, rather than just making it, rather than just having it be dark. And like and the second image, this image right here that we're looking at, is completely without, is completely without color with the same dark mood. I would have liked if like that had been accomplished without it. Yeah, thanks. Without it being one being black and white. Like I think the concept could have been accomplished without having to change the color. More of like the actual model doing something different. Um,
Yeah.
from what Carl wrote, from what he wrote.
Yeah, I think it's I think the top one he made black and white because it looked too similar, maybe. Maybe it's that's what I feel. That's what I feel like. Because it's pretty similar expressions. You have a little bit you have a little bit more of a surrounding in the bottom one. The top one is more of a personal profile. It's a little bit more up close. It's a little bit more personal with the person inside. You know, the bottom one is a little bit, you know, it's a little bit too broad. You know, that's why I mentioned that the stock image more, because, you know, it could be a YouTuber, blogger, you know, somebody, you know, Sunday mood. Um, and the top one is more personal profile of a person. Um, you know, again, in both of them, I would have liked to have seen more of the couch potato, just because that's what Carl mentioned. You know,
Yeah.
especially the top one, you know, maybe showing a little bit more texture. Um, but yeah, it's
Yeah, I wish they were like either. I'm curious to know what the top one looks like in color, or even if the bottom one was in black and white. Because the one at the top being black and white is really nice. I like that it's black and white. I think it looks really cool.
yeah, I like the top one better than the bottom one.
Yeah, definitely. Um, if I were to guess, I would think that the bottom one was taken before the top one. If I were to take a guess.
Why? Why do you say that?
Because models get more comfortable with time, and she like with the time that goes on in the shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in the first image, she's a little more open. She's a little more she's laying down. Um, whereas the first image, it's kind of like okay, like I'm comfortable. I'm in my bubble, you know. And
Yeah.
in the top one, it's like it's a little more loose. I think it's a little more open.
I could see that. Yeah, the bottom one definitely has a tenser feeling to it.
Yeah, it has a tenser feeling to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would guess, I could be wrong, of course, but I would guess that the one in the bottom was taken before the one on the top.
Hmm. Yeah, it looks like it. We'll ask Carl. Carl,
We'll
if
ask
you're
Carl.
looking,
Carl, let us know.
let us know.
We'll make a bet,
But great
Gianna.
images.
$5.
But great images. I would definitely advise Carl to, you know, to make some money, put it up on a stock site.
True. Yeah. I could see that being used for many things.
Oh yeah. So this is submitted by Mercy Jane, and the theme, and this is the last one, by the way. The theme
Okay.
that was submitted with this was, it doesn't matter. It's the theme was relationship within a relationship to each other. It doesn't matter where I am yours. But the theme was relationships. So this is the first one. What do you think, Sarah?
I love this. I love this perspective. I love that we're at the same height as the cup. I also love this house. I love old, like vintage looking like houses. Like, look at this red, like all these cabinets behind her are red. And it's like, I love this. Like, I feel like I'm visiting my family. Like I'm about to have something to drink with my grandma or something. I don't know, like just family. I just feel like I'm in a family home. And there's, you know, people around me probably, because she's not looking at me. And she's not looking at me, and she's not looking at her cup. So I'm just kind of like, I hope that I have a drink in front of me, and I would cheers with this person. It's just how it makes me feel. And I love the lighting too. Clearly, like, the light is like on this side, on her left.
On the right side of the.
Yeah, on our right side. Yeah. and just kind of like shining on her. And I really like this. I love that the perspective that it's coming from with the hand. Again, I love hands, and the cup.
Yeah.
So I think this is a great picture. I think the framing of it is really cool.
Yes, agreed.
I I do wonder though that the cup says his,
Yes,
but this is a woman. I think that this is a woman.
it is. It is a woman. Uh,
Picking up a his cup. So mm, where's the hers? You know, like it makes me wonder. Like why is she picking up his?
yeah.
Where is hers? um so I think that leaves for interest. There's also that message of like that, like his is very clear on the shot. You know, it's obviously like meant to be seen.
Yes.
So it's like, are you telling me that you belong to him? You belong to someone? There's obviously a guy somewhere where, you know, uh, and you can see the ring on her finger. So she's like, okay, she's married.
Mhm.
So it's a very thought-provoking image. And it makes me feel at home. I feel like I love photos that are like family photos, that could be seen hanging on people's homes, that are very candid, and it just feels like a very candid family shot, like professionally candid family shot. And I love stuff. I love stuff like that.
Nice. Nah, what I get from this image is very authentic. You mentioned family, the smile, kind of in movement, in and, like taken in an action. Um, I love the composition as well too, from the coaster or the cloth at the bottom, which has lines to the glass, to the um, I see kind of four layers from the ceiling to the red cabinets to the marble countertop to um, the cloth that the glass of water is on. It's a good composition. I've seen images from Mercy before, and she always has great composition. The his is definitely um, bringing up more questions, which I think the following image is going to explain a little bit more. Um, but I mentioned the four layers. The smile is very authentic, and you can see that it's a kitchen.
You can see it's
You
a
don't
kitchen.
yeah
Yeah,
you don't need a lot to tell you that it's in a kitchen, and a kitchen symbolically is always a gathering place. Especially in a
always.
family setting. It's the kitchen is a yeah is a gathering place. And you can see and feel that authenticness from that. So the next one, and I think the next one kind of completes the story a little bit more.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I love this. I think it's very thought provoking as well. I think it's really cool, and it works with the two images because like one kind of can't live without the other. And that's like with, especially with like my type of photography, I try to do that too. I try to when I put images together, I try to do it in a way where like one can't live without the other, or it's
Yes, you
incomplete.
do that a lot in your, especially architecture photography, which I definitely appreciate. I mean, it's not easy to do that, right?
Yeah, it's not easy to do that. Yeah, to kind of like uh make it like two puzzle pieces
Yes.
that are work together.
They can't live without each other,
They
right?
can't live without each other. Or if you find one, you know that something else is missing. When you find
Yeah.
a puzzle piece, you're like, where's the rest of it, you know?
Yeah.
And so I love that. I love that. Like with the first image, I wondered, I was like, okay, well, she has a his cup. Where's the guy?
Yeah.
Or where's the his? Or, and so I love that we're seeing like, okay, here's the other side of the story. Here's the other puzzle piece. I think it's so cool that she, I guess, photoshopped the picture onto the phone.
Yes, it's I had to zoom in, but it's for sure been done post.
Yeah, yeah. No, but that's still such a cool concept.
Yeah,
And
no, of course. I don't care if people edit their images. I mean,
oh my gosh, I don't either. I don't understand why some people do.
I do respect photographers that, you know, they don't, what they capture is what they put out.
Yeah.
I understand that, but some of the, like, you know, I consider myself an artist, and, you know, I'm a fine art photographer, and some of the most thought-provoking, most expensive fine art images, photography out there has been edited. You know, I
Has
mean,
been edited.
we live
Totally.
in a modern world, so why not use the tools that we have?
I mean, I also think that it depends on like the concept. Like I feel like with this image in particular,
Mm-hmm.
like if because this is the concept that she wanted, it had to be photoshopped. There's no other way. Like there's just no other way. Could you have the picture on the screen of the phone? Sure, but it probably would not have looked so clear to us.
Yeah.
So clear to the person seeing the picture. And I love that it's like over the shoulder. She got so close to her her face,
Mm-hmm.
you know, where we still see like the cheek and the glasses, but that doesn't take over. I think like this is such a good balance, and it's so hard to balance that without getting the nose too. I've taken pictures of myself from here, and it's difficult finding the right like angle here.
From the side of it.
Yeah, like, well, that over the shoulder shot while still including the face is that's kind of difficult, where she didn't get her nose and just got her cheek and her eye and her glasses. So I think it's great. I think she got that side view of her face really well. It's clear that she wants us to see the hers and the his, you know, otherwise that hers would not have been turned our way. And it's just so sweet. Like, okay, like, so she's FaceTiming, you know, her other half, because the other half has his. It's also like, it could be that like, she's seeing herself from the past. I don't know. It's just, there's so many things. Like, she's seeing a picture that her daughter might have taken.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. It's great. It's very thought provoking, and I love the angle that we're looking at. Like, we're looking over her shoulder, and we can still see that she's in the kitchen. We can still see that she's there in the same place. She hasn't moved. I love it.
Yeah. I definitely appreciate the angle it was taken from. But this image is, you know, definitely the other half of image one. You know, at first I thought it was the same person as in image one, but holding a different glass with, you know, different drink inside. And it says hers. So this might be another person, you know, this might be,
Right.
you know, like I don't want to be guessing, but this might be the other half, or it might, you know, or it might still be the same person. Like I really don't know. What it is telling me from, you know, kind of I'm not sure if the person is looking at an image or maybe a video, but it's giving me like Zoom call, social distancing vibes, his and hers, but like
Yeah.
from a social distancing, like perspective. Um, Looking at this image individually, the thing I most appreciate is the angle, like the over the shoulder angle. I love the fact that it's, you see the bare minimum, but you can still see that the person is smiling. You see that the person has a smile on their face.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it's a smile.
No,
Um,
I think so too. I think so too.
yeah, pretty sure it's a smile, but I do think this image, it needs the other one, to speak louder. I think they do need each other to kind
Yeah.
of tell the story. I love the fact how this, you can see a little bit more of the kitchen, a little bit more of a description of the surroundings, and but again, I love the minimalistic look of the subject. Just showing the bare minimum. Um, Give me a sec.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I think
Yes.
I don't know if
Fighting.
this is, yeah, your puppy. Yeah,
Um,
I don't know like if this is a grandma or an aunt or
mhm.
or mom, I'm not sure, but I would love to meet this lady. That's how I feel about it. Um, just very like homey vibes.
Yes.
Even even what she's wearing, even that like yellow that she's
Mhm.
wearing, and like the
And
bracelet.
they're both images next to one another.
Yeah, like even what, oh God, yeah, these like should be, the only thing that's missing is a written story that I'm dying to read about these images in like a magazine that I bought at the store. you know?
Yeah. So the theme again, it doesn't matter where I am yours. There are two photos with a relationship in which the subject also has a relationship with each other. You know, Looking back at the theme, the description that was submitted, I do think it's the same person now. Um, it's it it might be a little bit confusing to me as well.
Yeah,
Because
because
I
it's the
would have,
same person.
because it's the same person, and because one glass is his, the other is hers, but then it's still the same person. So that is
I
the only
think,
thing confusing me.
yeah, I think maybe if she had taken like, I think she might have wanted to try and make it so it seems like it's not the same person. So maybe
Mm.
what I would have done is, um,
And it might be a different person.
well, then
It,
if that was the case, I would have maybe taken like the glasses out of the second picture, because the glasses,
you know what? It might be a different person.
it might be a different
Um,
person. Yeah,
it's a
but
different person because
yeah, but
look at the glass. Hmm. Go ahead.
no, sorry, I just wanted to say like, but it's very similar, so I think maybe doing something that makes it different. Like I know like how you were about to say like the detail in the glasses might be different. um
It's two different people. Now I get it a little bit because if you look on the at the one on the photo on the left side, those glasses have like the little
oh yeah,
and the one on the right side doesn't have it. So
right,
you know it's his and hers, and they're communicating virtually.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
think
I
I
think it's two people. I think it's a man and a woman.
I think I would have like kind of um made that more apparent somehow. I'm not sure how. Maybe um something that would have shown me more that this person was different, because I had the same feeling you did. I thought, I was like, is this the same person? And maybe she's trying to make it seem like they're two different people. Like I had the same idea too. So maybe just to avoid having that confusion, just add something that maybe makes it more apparent that they are two different people.
Hmm.
um but
Or
yeah,
maybe make it more abstract, and not show less face in the first one, and because I appreciate the angle of capturing somebody through from over the shoulder. I love that minimalistic
I
look.
love that. Yeah, me too. Oh,
And the
me too.
first one is maybe showing a little bit too much. I would have maybe, while I love the composition, maybe have gone a little bit lower, that you maybe show a little bit less of the person's face.
I
Um,
I disagree. I disagree. I love whoever this lady is and I want to meet her. And I don't think I would have felt that way if I hadn't seen her face, because she's
yeah.
smiling and she makes me happy. And I'm happy seeing her face. Like, I want this woman to be part of my family too. Um,
I
yeah,
I like the smile, but I like the smile not seeing the smile on the right side. I love that you can just by the side of, and maybe that's my personal style, but on the side, the image on the right side, that cheek going up, and those, you know, um, smiling eyes. I like that approach better. You
yeah, I
know.
see what you mean. I agree. No, I see what you mean. It's definitely a more interesting perspective. I think what it would have
Hmm.
been even cooler, or and maybe not cooler, but something cool to see too,
Hmm.
would have been like if in the second picture, instead of seeing the same picture as the first one, maybe she would have been drinking out of the cup or something like that. Like maybe she would have been doing something just slightly different, maybe drinking the cup, maybe holding the cup a little bit higher, like, or
Hmm.
something just slightly different where we would have still known it was her, but
Hmm.
um less frozen in time, less frozen. um but I love these two images.
It definitely put us on a journey, which
Yeah.
which I always appreciate. Kind of a puzzle, kind of that you need to figure out. To see the full picture. So I do appreciate that a lot. All right, guys. So we've selected the final three, and we're gonna go from number three to number two to number one, and also tell you why we selected those. So what you're seeing right now is not in order. Um, so for number three, we have, which one do we have, Sarita?
For number three, we have Mario. I hope I'm saying his last name right. Jellicoe?
Mario
Jellicoe?
Jellicoe. Yeah,
Mario
it's a little
Jellicoe.
hard. A little hard pronunciation. But Mario, we selected your image as number three. So why did we select your combination of images? Simply because you use the hands as your main subject, and both hands are both images tell a story. Now the one at the top holding the coins, I think that image is masterful of an image. I even would love to see it printed as well. But it definitely tells a story. Like showing. It's so expressive, both through the hands, both through the subjects that you selected with the coins, things kind of value, things that we give a certain value, and it could also be very symbolic. Money is symbolic, a ring is symbolic, jewelry is symbolic, and even hands. What both Sarita and I, put a lot of value behind hands because they express so much. And your second image for me is really, it works well with the first one, just by the pursuit kind of jumping out at you. But definitely the what weighs heavier for me is the one holding up the coins. But both well executed. The images work well. They both tell a story, and yeah, both a great collection. So what did you think, Sarah?
Yeah, I agree. I love these two images together. I do feel like the one with the hands holding the coins strikes me more. It stands out for me more. If I were to see these two images like in a gallery, I think I would take home the one with the hands and the coins. I feel like even my family would love this image. And again, the hands, I just love hands. I love these hands. I love that like the hands take up most of both images. And I feel like that tells so much of a story. And you did such a great job telling that story with these hands.
Yeah, and I mean, hands do so much for us. I mean, there's nothing we don't use our hands for.
Yeah.
It's critical. So for second place, and we still have Jonathan left and Gino. So for second place, we have
Jonathan Chekron.
So why did we select Jonathan's image? You want to go first, Sarita?
These images are both so beautiful. And I love, Gianno and I both love the story behind these two images, and my heart goes out to New York. And Jonathan, the fact that these two images were the only surviving images really goes with the story of the images too. So that's kind of crazy. I love the image at the bottom with the cityscape in the background. Beautiful. I really, if I were to see both of these images, I would take the bottom one with me home, or put it like in an album or something. I really love it. The first image is really nice too. I just feel like when I kind of like look from afar, like if I were to lean back, it's a little bit harder for me to tell what it is. Like if I look closer, I can tell that it's a graveyard, and I can tell that what's going on, and that it is also such a beautiful image. But because of that one being next to the one with the cityscape, I would take the cityscape with me, because I love the lighting in it, and I love that you can clearly see it, and that kind of space even, and that even from afar I can tell what's going on.
Yeah. I fully agree with Sarita. Beautiful image. I definitely agree with the bottom one that you're seeing right now. I mean, it's a masterful image that you can see more and more detail. I love the fact that the U.S. flag is kind of hidden behind the trees, and I also discovered that it's a half flag, which even adds more to it. But the reason why you came in second is simply because these images stand on their own. And they weigh very heavy, very beautiful images, both the top one and the bottom one. Um, but it does lack a little bit in working well as a collection. Now, I'm not saying that they don't work at all. I think submitted with both your story and the journey you went on and how it eventually came out, these images for sure have a history to them and a strong story. But just looking at all the submissions, we felt that they are, they could be separated and still hold their own. And that's simply why we selected second place. But them being both two beautiful images that I would definitely advise to be printed out, simply because the story behind them and what it means to you and you also living in New York, I definitely think you should definitely print these two out. So, Mr. Gino, congratulations. You have won episode number 3, and
Yay!
and
Woo!
and simply the reason being, Gino, at least for me personally, it's you taking one subject um, uh, and using two different styles to highlight one subject, which is uh, the the transit building in Rotterdam. We can already see that it's a beautiful image, but what I personally love is your more minimalistic approach, like the image on the left, and the more documentary style approach, looking at the image on the right, taking more of a street level view of that building compared to a more abstract look. So what did you think, Sarita?
Yeah, I think what really drove this home for me, and why I agreed with Giano on this being first place, was because I can't see if I saw these pictures at a store, at a gallery, anywhere, and they were for sale, I wouldn't be able to take one home without the other. I just wouldn't. I would feel like regretful. I'd feel like I feel like I would be separated from the other image, especially because they are they feel like they're part of a set. It just feels like it's part of a set. And I love that in the first one where we see the underbelly of the architecture, when I see the second one after seeing the first one, like I said earlier, I feel like it turned, or I feel like the architecture turned or showed its face to me. So I really love that motion. I really love that the sky is the same and just the colors are the same. It just really works well together and alone, but I would not take just one of these home with me. I would take both of them home with me.
Well put, Sarita. And that's why, based on this week's concept with giving us two images, but they both forming one, kind of one united story, is why you won, Gino. Again, great job. Beautiful images. And I know you're in Europe, so I'll figure out a way to send you the prints, all right? But that's week 3, guys, of the photo assignment. I really want to thank Sarita, all the way from Europe, of joining us. It was a real pleasure to have you on as a judge. And did you have anything else to say?
Thank you. No, not at all. Thank you so much for having me. I would love,
course.
you know, for all of you guys to contact me, especially Gino, who's in Rotterdam, and I'm in Berlin. You know, I would love to have another connect in Europe. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see the future of the photo assignment. I loved that everybody shared their images today. It's been such a pleasure and an honor. Thank you so much. And that's pretty much it. So yeah.
Awesome. You guys be sure to check out Top the Shot with Sarita. Also follow her. She has amazing photography. And in closing, I just wanted to thank everyone for all their submissions. Even the ones that didn't win, you know, I really appreciate your submissions. I hope this review, I think my song is leaving, my voice is leaving a little bit, but I really hope that these reviews kind of help you guys, guide you guys a little bit, give you guys incentives, most importantly, to go out there and shoot. That's the main goal. And to give you guys the reviews to help you kind of mature your craft, which is photography, and even beyond photography. If you're a filmmaker, if you're a creative, you know, I really hope this helps you as well to both think creatively, and kind of break the rules and find your own voice, your own visual voice as a creative out there. That's the main goal of the photo assignment. So stay up to date with assignment number 4. I can't believe it's already at number 4. It's going to be an exciting one as well. So be sure to look out and see you next time. Ciao.